All right, welcome back, YouTube. So it's been 3 or 4 weeks. I said I was gonna do a video after the completion of my last unit. You're gonna have to call me a little liar or a fibber because I still have one more unit left, which we'll show off here. But I was inspired by Triaris's updates. We're now exactly 29 days to the show, so it is crunch time. We're on target for everything. The army is more or less assembled in front of you, minus 48 Romans. Everything else is fully painted. I just finished the last unit of javelin skirmishers for the Romans, and they're gluing on the bases, or they're drying with the glue on the bases right now. Shut my door in case the dogs go crazy. But yeah, so I'm hoping it's June 20th as I'm speaking, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to get at least half of that 48-man unit done in June, and then move on to July, finish them out the first week of July, and then that'll leave a week or week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that, 2 weeks, we'll just say, to work on something else for the project. Now, I could work on anything. I could do another unit of auxilia, I could do another warband, I could do a unit of cavalry for the Germanics. I could do casualty markers and heroes. So I don't know. I posed the question to Triarius. He didn't really have, he said follow your heart, essentially. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, part of me wants to like do another warband to like increase the scale of the game, because an extra 50 Germanics, that's pretty cool. And I don't know, he's in full-on painting mode himself, and I know he has to paint we're a little light on Germanic cavalry, because a lot of the cavalry, I think some of the cavalry he has is like armored noble guys, like Gothic nobles, Sarmatian type deals, and the Germanics didn't really use heavy cavalry in the battle. Their cavalry was a lot lighter and a lot less numerous than the Romans. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Right now, speaking off the cusp here, the heroes and casualty markers sound the best. I do have a decent number of figures that would be suitable as hero figures for the Germanics, and I do have a small little section of casualties that I can do for the Germanics as well. Because the plan is some of the units have heroes integrated into them. In the army list that I saw, I think almost all the Germanic warbands do. So that I like showing that with just a single figure on a round or oval base that's essentially attached or right next to the unit that it's attached to. And then likewise for the disordered casualty marchers, I always try to do casualties with my armies, primarily with Hail Caesar and WAB. I put them on dials, that way you can dial them up to, from 0 to 10. And I can show one in case you guys haven't seen it. I'll bring one of my Persian ones. But this is essentially how I like to do my casualties. Typically, I put a casualty figure on a dial base, and as you can see there, the dial just spins to the number there. That's how I did my English Civil War army, that's how I did my Persians, and that's how I've done my Republican Romans. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I do have like 4 or 5 dials. I don't know if that's how I'm going to do them for this, or if I'm just going to put them on an individual base. I'm actually really enjoying To the Strongest, and as I've gotten the rules down and learned them more, I think I'm going to stay with it for a while until I see something. I haven't tried DBA. I know that's a really big one, and Mordia McGloria is the other big one. I haven't tried either one of those game systems, so I'm not saying ever, but right now I'm really enjoying not having to have a measuring tape, or giant piles of dice. So I think I'm going to stay with To the Strongest. I'm really enjoying it. I only have one gaming partner here that I play with anyways, so we've both been learning the rules together. So I don't see a reason to change. So I might just put them on individual bases, but we'll go in. I think The only thing I've added since my last video, no, I did all the cavalry. So I did paint 3 units since the last update. So the last update, I believe the army was 3 units lighter. So we'll go through here, and then I'll finish out with the last little bit here on some outstanding things for the game. Okay, I'm gonna go back into 1X mode here. So last time I made a video, the cavalry was not complete. The cavalry is fully complete now. So Triaris, if you're seeing this, I'll show off the main commander here. So I did paint 2 mounted commanders here. So this is actually all gonna be footsore. Yeah, so these are all footsores. These are 2, one's a Roman heavy cavalryman, and then one I believe is actually a cataphract guy. And then the commander figure himself is Belisarius. So he's in lamellar armor there with some mail. He has a sword. He's on a barded horse, an armored horse. And then his 2 Bucalari companions are on barded horses with giant contos. So he is likely going to be our cataphract commander. Makes the most sense. He's kind of on a cataphract horse. But that's Footsore's Belisarius. So that is him. And then I did a generic mounted commander that I could use for whatever. So, and these are both footsores. This is more of a Gothic looking rider there. And just a generic Roman officer. It could be Gothic though, but he does have the banded greaves there. So with the Draco banner. So I like how these guys turned out. But those are the 2 commanders. And then you guys have seen most of the cav. First unit is the footsore cataphractaries there. Great units. Great units there. I like that they do have a good command option there with the musician and the officer. Then we got a heavy unit of footsore Scutari type guys in armor, and I did mine a mix of like more Roman-esque riders and more barbarian-esque riders. So it's kind of a mix to kind of get that flavor of the late Roman army. And this unit actually does have a hero as well. I think I showed him off. He was under painting, or maybe just need to be based up. But this is actually footsore, and he's King Arthur. So he's the hero figure for my Scutari guys. He's about ready to throw his spear there. Pretty cool. He's like in a slightly armored barded horse. He has scale armor on, which was pretty cool. I really liked the figure. He was pretty cool to paint. And it's a unicast figure, so you got him as he was. And then all the other units are going to be, and everything so far has been footsore, footsore, footsore. This is the first unit of Vitrix. These are just the light Dalmatian guys. So just javelin cav. And then behind them is going to be the footsore armored archers. And then behind them are 2 units of the Vitrix cataphracts. And that's what I painted the last couple weeks. So we got 24 Vitrix cataphracts. What was nice is that Triarius sent me enough. Actually, he has some extra sprues, and he sent me enough riders and horses to do 8. And Vitrix does sets. They do 16 riders and horses in a set. So if you combine one set with the 8 I got, it gave me 24 in total. So that actually worked out perfect. So that's the cavalry. The cavalry's done. We're not touching any more cavalry for the Romans, at least. What I do for the barbarians. I already showed the commands. So, these right here are the divisional commanders. This is the divisional commander for the large division. That's the division commander for the small division. But yeah, the small division is now complete. This was the unit I literally just finished today. So as you can see, it's Vitrix unarmored javelin men. They actually have the long style of pilum. So the more barbarian style of javelin there with the barbed head. And then there is the Emperor, of course. So in case you saw on the back row here, this is the last of the Romans here. This is the 48-man unit of Aventine shield wall guys. So that's the last unit I got to do for the Romans. And that would mark the end of the project of what I committed to. So everything you see, I'm going to remount here. Everything you see on the table, which has all been shown off, marks everything. I think it comes to a total of 542 miniatures, so almost 550 miniatures. Now, if I paint some more heroes and casualties, that'll bring it over 550. If I paint another war band, that'll definitely bring it closer to the 600 mark. If I paint only one unit of cavalry, just a little, you get what I'm saying. But I think we are going to be able to paint a little bit more for this. We have ammunition markers coming. I already showed off the victory coins. I'm going to bring my grid mat, and we're going through the unit cards and the unit rosters right now to make sure everything is organized. In my last video, I said I couldn't remember if it was a 6-player or 8-player games. They are 8-player games, so there's going to be 4 players on each side. So we're working out how we're breaking down all the divisions. The barbarians are a little bit easier because they're just war bands. Obviously, if you know the battle, the Germans tried to do a sneaky ambush and they botched it. So there's going to be a force for that. They were hidden in trees. They were supposed to be hidden in ditches and trees and then surprise the Romans, but somehow the Romans detected them, and that was on Servius's side, and he was able just to freaking annihilate those guys. So that most of the time, I feel like the barbarians would only engage, the Germanic barbarians, I should say, would only engage in the Romans if they could use some sort of battlefield trickery, like ambushes or something like that. And if they could pull it off, like at Teutoburg Forest, it went great, and you annihilate, 2 or 3 whole legions, right? They tried it at Strasbourg, didn't work. They were the ones that got absolutely annihilated. So this is one of those times. The Germans try to rely on ambushes and trickery a lot. If it worked, it worked. If it didn't, they lost their asses big. So, like I said, the Germans, they're going to be a little bit more easier to organize because it's just war bands minus the ambush guys, and then the small division of interspersed cavalry and light troops. The Germans knew the Romans had a shit ton of heavy cavalry, i.e. the cataphracts and clevenarii, and they specifically interspersed light infantry troops with their cavalry to surprise the Romans, and it worked. The cataphracts were absolutely thrown into disarray. Half of them didn't even engage and beat feet without even engaging the enemy. Half of them were annihilated. There's reports, Minianus states that Julian was able to rally them halfway through the battle. A lot of historians call bullshit on that. They're like, there's no way, right? Like, until there was like a freaking cliff or a river or some sort of natural barrier to cause them to stop, they wouldn't have been able to be rallied. But Aminianus gives a really cool speech that Julian might have said to his panicked and fleeing cavalry units to get them to come back and form up in the main line of battle to support the rest of the army. So pretty cool there. We got 5 commanders in total, 3 on foot, including an emperor, and then 2 on horse, including Belisarius. So we're really down. We're down to the wire now. Everything's done, or near done, I should say. And oh yes, I almost forgot. So I did come up with my travel solution. I'll pause and we can go over that. Okay, so as you can see, I got a giant case. This case is going to hold all the 550 plus-ish miniatures. I actually think I can bring a couple extra units if I needed to. It can fit them all in here. So this is from Battle Foam. If you're here in the United States and you're somebody that plans on going to tournaments, traveling to conventions, things like that, I'd highly recommend this. I found out about these guys from Holy Diver. He has 3 or 4 of their bags because Holy Diver used to be a tournament player. In case you guys don't know, he doesn't do it anymore. But he used to be really big into tournament play. And so this company is really great. They have a lot of ready-made standalone products, so you can buy just their bags, and they have a whole suite of bags for like 100 different game systems, maybe even 200. And then they have pre-made, pre-selected, pre-organized foam inserts for those bags. So this is actually a combination of two bags. The large bag is the 720, and then this is like their plus bag that goes underneath there, and it just zippers on, and it can come off separately, and then you can also access everything from there. And what was really cool about this service is I emailed them and I gave them the dimensions to all of my bases, and they custom made every single foam tray to my base sizes, essentially, so the Army. So every single base, I went in and I was like, when I was at a point in the project, I knew what I was actually bringing, and then I left about 10% extra for wiggle room. I gave them the dimension to every base. They even accounted for spear overhang. They're like, hey, how much spear overhang are you gonna have? I told them like, oh, I have an inch. Most units have an inch on them. They baked that into the cake for the bases, and they made foam inserts. So all of those miniatures will fit in here. I'm gonna check it. This is not carry-on, unfortunately. It's not small enough to be carry-on. So this is gonna be checked. They assure me the miniatures will get there. Obviously, spears are gonna come unglued. Like, there's no getting around that. Spears are gonna come unglued. I'm not worried about miniatures coming unglued from the bases because I use AK and Vallejo ground texture paste, and that essentially acts as another gluing agent for the miniature to the base. So I seriously doubt I'm gonna lose any miniatures, but I am gonna lose spears. That much I'm sure of. Which is fine. I'll bring some files. I'll bring some super glue. We'll live. We can make do with some spears, and I'll bring like some browns, and I'll bring like a few paints too, just for touch-ups, because I will absolutely go fucking bonkers if there's like any large touch-ups need to be made. Like my OCD, my as holy diver always told me, my autism will explode. So I'll have to bring some repair supplies with me to fix shit. And we have time, so it's not like we get there and we game. We'll have a full 24 hours, more like 48 hours before we even do our games. So we'll be able to organize everything and repair as needed. So big shout out to them. And as you can see, the bag has compartments on it and actually has like molly. So you can, if you wanted to, you could molly shit on there. I don't know why you would, but the whole back is covered in molly as well. So you could straight up like military mounting system for combat equipment. You could do whatever you want there, but it comes sewn with some sewn pockets on each side, so you can put some files and paints in there if you need to, which I will be doing. So that's that. Battle Foam, highly recommend them. They were a pleasure to work with, very responsive. They came in under their timeline. The only criticism, and it's not a criticism because it's not like they lie about it, they are expensive. So you are gonna pay for this. But if you're wanting to protect your miniatures like I did, then in my opinion it is worth it. It was not cheap, but you are getting a premium service and product. Like the foam trays themselves are very, very well built. They're very the bottoms of them are glued together with very high quality adhesive. They're not coming apart. The foam is high quality. So if I wanted to give my miniatures the best chance for surviving a flight with a layover, because not only am I flying, I'm not direct flying, so I gotta do a layover in Atlanta with these things. So all those freaking luggage dudes who probably been smoking bowls all day are gonna be throwing this shit around. So I wanted to give my miniatures the best chance for survival. So, and hopefully they all make it. So pray to the mini gods that everything goes well for me. So other than that, that's really all I got to show off in this video here. It's already long. I wanted to do a potential rant about some current event stuff, not related to the hobby, oddly enough, but I'll probably say that for a different video. I'll still want to do one more video before the big show. So hopefully I'll be able to show the Army off in its full, or the project, because it's kind of an army and a half, off in its full glory before I actually fly out. So thanks guys for watching. I've been watching everybody's videos. Sometimes I comment. I try to respond to all the comments left on my channel. It gets hard sometimes. So if it takes me a while, don't get too mad at me. But till next time guys, keep on painting.